What's up? Hi! Dina is back with another lecture about social media. My favorite topic. Social media is so hard, guys. And I get so many questions on a daily basis, especially on Instagram, of people just like, why? Why am I not getting enough likes? Why am I not getting enough followers? Why am I not getting enough comments? Like, why is no one buying my products? Why is no one hiring me for projects? This shit's difficult. And for us artists and illustrators out there, it's a different game for us when it comes to how we curate ourselves on the internet compared to a lot of like fashion bloggers or influencers, if you will, where we have to be really fucking raw and super actually authentic, which I know people are just like, be authentic and just keep posting and you'll be popular. Like, yes, of course, everyone should be true to themselves, but let's face it, we tend to show only the best versions of ourselves, right? High angles, right, ladies? Gotta make those faces look thin as fuck. But in a sea of everyone faking it till they make it, where all you see is fake shit all the time. Perfect flat lays of what you wore that day, you know, tagging all the cosmetics you use on your face, like perfectly putting your puppy, right? Like in a shot of your artwork or something. Like, it's obviously very staged, but there's a really good way that we can kind of, I'm trying to do the hand gesture. We can mix them, right? We can mix them. We can mix them together where we're showing the best part of ourselves because we're a fucking business. We're trying to be professionals here, right? While also being true to ourselves, to make sure and to ensure that we're actually creating artwork that resonates with us. It actually has a meaning behind the message. And it's not just something that looks pretty, which is, I find, the hardest thing about social media to begin with. All right, so today we have a very special treat for you because I'm giving you kind of a freebie, if you will, on kind of like an inside scoop into my social media class. I did a live version of this course, what was it, last month in October, with 30 students. It was fucking amazing. It was jam-packed. We met up twice a week for like 3 hours every lecture to just really get into the nitty-gritty of all things social media, like how to write better captions, how to figure out what your subject matter is, how to talk about yourself, how to update and beautify your profile, how to stage your photos, what kind of photos do you need to be posting more consistently, what are you doing wrong, what are you doing right, how to actually start to market yourself so people will buy things from you. What else? But wait, there's more. How to get featured on larger pages, since getting reposted is probably the only surefire way to get a ton of followers, where hashtags, you're just gambling. You're gambling. You don't know if it's gonna work. You don't even know if it's gonna trend, if you're using the right one, or if it's a banned hashtag. So we get into all of that stuff, and it also gets incredibly personal because we're artists, man. It doesn't get more personal than this shit right here. We're putting our emotions, we're putting all our empathy on paper or on an iPad or something, and we're showing it to the world, and that shit is nerve-wracking. So I wanted to kind of give you guys, through all of my thousands of dollars spent on taking courses and paying for advertising and doing everything fucking the wrong way, so that way I can present it to you the right way, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. So today we're actually going to give you kind of a sneak peek on some of the content we'll be talking about, which is all about how to curate your Instagram to gain more followers, right? Because that's what we always think about. We're like, I need those followers. Which is probably not the metric you should be paying attention to. You really should be thinking more about clicks, because just because you get a follower doesn't mean you got $1 in your bank account. It's really all about, yes, you get followers, and then the second step is educating them, right? Getting, like, allowing them to get to know you, and then once you, right, you're like a friendship, right? You can't just be like, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Dina, will you give me money? Like, that's really weird and very rude, and there's steps that you have to follow in order to get to that purchase. Right? It's called a sales funnel, but a lot of us artists were just so concerned on that social proof and feeling good and getting that validation through social media, which is, you know, not a bad thing by any means. It makes me feel amazing, and sometimes it gives me the confidence to make that extra art piece maybe I wasn't in the mood to make when I first woke up that morning. But I really want us to focus more on, hey, we're trying to make a living from our art here, people. We're not just trying to get validated. It's just kind of an extra bonus. So I'm just going to kind of help you guys right now figure out your shit, clean up your bio, and just kind of make this whole social media thing a lot easier. And if you're digging this content, I really do hope that you sign up for my course that will be launching next week. So what we're going to be going over today is a 5-tier plan to get your shit organized starting right now. All right, so we're going to do this by figuring out your bio. We're going to make it short. We're going to make it sweet. We're going to, most importantly, make it easy to understand, because a lot of people be putting shit like, I like coffee. Plant lady. That's great. And, but if it's kind of like, why though? Like if you're like, I want to go to your profile, you only get 140 characters. You might as well like make it clear as day why the fuck I should follow you. Who the hell are you in the first place, and why should I care? And the fact that you're a plant lady and like coffee isn't in my spectrum of interests at the moment. Let's just put it that way, especially if you're trying to get paid. Unless you're a crazy plant lady who makes art for, you know, plant containers, pots. That's the word I couldn't think of, pots. I'm a stoner, couldn't think of the word pot. I apologize. Like, I've seen like hand lettering artists like letter on pots. Then you being a crazy plant lady makes sense. Or if you have a lot of plants in your portfolio, makes sense. Or if you make a lot of custom coffee mugs, makes sense to put I love coffee. But if there's no coffee or plant shit to be seen in your grid, then how is it relevant to you as an artiste? Number 2, repeat yourself. I love to repeat myself, mostly for my own like education. I feel like I have to teach someone something before I can truly understand what it means. But what I'm talking about here is that it's okay to repost your work. Like if you have a static image, it's totally fine to like show the process of that image, then the final static image, and then maybe a mock-up of that image being used, and then even reposting that exact picture again a couple rows after the last time you posted it. Because let's face it, that engagement rate on Instagram is low as fuck. It's like 3% engagement if we're lucky. If we're lucky. That's like considered a good engagement rate. Like that's the average. Isn't that fucking sad? So if only 3% of your audience sees your content in the first place, why are we so afraid to duplicate that shit? Number 3, I think we should all show more of the artist behind, the art, if you will. I like to see that you're a person, especially if you're an individual independent artist. I think it's super important that I understand where my money is going. Allow me to connect with you on a personal level as a human being, not someone who hides their face, not someone who buries themselves in work. Who are you? This allows me to trust you more as a potential client or as a customer. And I feel like if we're friends on the internet, I'm so much more compelled to support you and just be feverishly excited about everything that you make. But if you hide that part of yourself, which I understand it's really, really hard sometimes to put yourself out there, as someone who's extremely anxious all the time, even though I don't look at it, but you just have to keep in mind, I'm talking to you from the very safe 4 walls of my studio. I'm not like hosting some big workshop. I can't even see your faces to imagine you naked to be less nervous right now. So I might seem like Miss Confident Lady, but I'm seriously maybe in real life, it's another story. That being said, we really just need to showcase ourselves just a little bit. And it's so much easier when you're hiding behind a computer, guys. And if that's that first step for you, we're going to walk you through it to make it a little less like crazy and making you feel like nervous and self-conscious. Number 4, we're going to be talking about a little bit about captions, how we can talk more about the why than the what. So many people write captions like, well, first of all, a lot of people don't even like write captions. They just like put sparkle emojis, and I'm kind of like, cool. What does that mean though? Like, as an artist, you have this opportunity, you have this little box, right? That tells me why the fuck you made this piece. What does it mean to you? What materials did you use? Tell me a fucking story. Like, remember elementary school? The who, what, when, where, how? That shit still applies. That shit still applies nowadays, okay? And when you don't give me that opportunity to get to know you, it's so much harder for me to connect with you. And that's why a lot of us are experiencing, you know, maybe a couple double taps here and there, but we're not getting any comments, right? We're not really getting that much growth as a following because you're not giving people a reason to follow you. You're being very cosmetic. You're just kind of being like, oh, look how pretty what I make is, but I don't get to the emotion. Like, you're not giving me an excuse or a reason to care about you. You're just another person I follow on the internet. There's a big difference between a follower and a friend, and we're going to get into that in today's lecture. And then finally, how can we actually use Instagram and other social media platforms as we were always meant to use these platforms as a way to connect with actual people. So I really want to make sure that you guys are interacting every day. in that you are not just talking at people, but you're also having conversations with some people. And we'll get into some ways to make that a little bit easier for you. All right, that is pretty much like the spiel of what we will be going to be going over during today's lecture. It's a lot of information. Are you ready? Let's go! All right, so first things first, short and sweet bio. This is where we're going to spend a lot of our time. For those of you that are here in the live stream, you are in luck. You get critiqued. Are we excited? All right, so short and sweet bio. What do you want people to remember you? How do you want them to remember you? Think of it like this. We follow so many people on the internet. I recently just like unfollowed like 500 people because I was looking at these people coming up my feed and I didn't know who they were. Like I was very confused by the whole thing. And I really want to make sure that the people that I'm following, I'm being inspired by and I'm not being intimidated by. There's a lot of people on the internet for me that make me feel like garbage every time I see another point in their success column, and that's all right. That's called jealousy. I feel that, but sometimes it crosses that line and just makes me feel bad versus, supposed to like pep me up and get me excited to work. So that's a big difference. But when we're following like hundreds, if not thousands of people on Instagram, you would need to make sure that your bio, especially your profile, is incredibly clear. Not only for, new people who are stumbling on your profile, want to know what you're about, but it could be for the people who have been following you for months, if not years, and haven't seen a post from yours, in a couple months or a couple weeks, and maybe forget or don't even know who you are, and they have to remind themselves by clicking back over to your profile to know what you offer so that way they can make the decision to continue following you. Because getting followers, guys, is actually really easy, but keeping them, that's the hot pot right there. So this is really, like, these, 140 characters are so precious. They're fucking precious, okay? All right. So what you need to be writing down is just answering these questions. Really easy. What services do you offer? The more specific you can be here, the better, right? I'm okay with, just the word illustrator, or if you're a hand lettering artist, put hand lettering artist. But if there's any way you can niche that further to... let's say maybe you're a logo designer and I always like to use lettering as an example, hand lettering artist. If you're a hand lettering artist, maybe you're a hand lettering artist that specializes in branding. Or if you're an illustrator, maybe you're an illustrator that specializes in comic books or children's book illustration or any other of the number of things that you do. And you could, niche this down by what services you offer, right? The mediums of choice. Sometimes if you get more specific and talk about, and not only am I an illustrator, but I'm an illustrator that uses watercolor. It's like, all right, we're painting a picture here. I'm getting a clear view of what you do and what you offer. But a lot of us, we just put illustrator. And it's like, illustrator of what? Give me more. Second is, why am I following you in the first place? Are you entertaining me in some way? Are you funny? Are you a clown? Are you trying to make me laugh? Are you engaging with me? Do you just have a really badass fucking lifestyle and I just want to fucking be you and learn everything that you're doing in life and just suck up your coolness through the computer screen? Or are you actually there to teach me something? Are you there to educate me? Show me your own process. Give me a sneak peek into how other people can be like you and the exact niche and products and services that you offer. If you look at, I have an example of, I just screenshotted this from today. By the way, I change my bio probably 3 or 4 times a week. It just depends on what's the latest thing that I'm doing right now. So I recently just updated it to illustration for the sensitive soul. Since a lot of my work, this is me talking about subject matter here, because I talk a lot about anxiety, self-love, body positivity, just with cursing. And I'm a very sensitive human being, and that seems to be the kind of audience I've noticed lately that I'm, attracting. So I wanted to, if someone else is a fellow sensitive soul that wears their heart on their sleeve like I want them to know this is the place for them. So if you could be specific also with subject matter, that is also incredibly, incredibly helpful. Next is, what do you offer? Do you actually sell something? If you don't worry about it. Maybe you're just really focused on just building up a following and just trying to get some fucking confidence posting your art. I get that. But if you are trying to get paid, you need to talk about what I can find so I can give you my money. Whether or not you have a Patreon like me, or you're selling an actual physical product like buttons, pins, shirts. Maybe it's only digital products. Maybe you make brushes. or mock-ups or something like that. If you offer something and you want to get paid, you got to make sure it's clear as day on your bio. Because again, you're not getting paid based on how many followers you have. You're actually getting paid versus how many people click on that link in your bio. Because Instagram is an advertising channel. That's the whole fucking point, right? It's not a validation machine. It's a way for you to funnel your content through so you can try to attract an audience that wants to help you pay rent that month. So tell me exactly what you offer. Buttons. If there's a certain, again, subject matter. Like there are a lot of really popular curated communities right now that create products that are for a specific demographic. Like, oh, this is all about feminism, or this is all about plant life, or this is all about, you know, the introverts unite. Like Sad Ghost Club or High Girl Society, or like, you name it, there's a fucking Instagram for it. So if there's a niche, if there's any fucking unified theme in your grid, make it clear. And last, where can I give you money? How can I pay you? This is the link in the bio. You guys could be utilizing things like Linktree, where you can have multiple links. For me, this is a must. I actually just recently updated from like a single link to something like Linktree. It's free for you guys to use. They have a pro version available as well, but I'm sure you know what this is already. If you've been on Instagram, you've been seeing Linktree all over the place in people's bios. I update these very often. I always change up the order depending on what I'm selling. And for me, it was so much more important to have multiple links because I typically have a lot of things going on at the same time. So if you're that kind of person where you're like, okay, I have this product, and then, you know, I have this educational resource, and I have this workshop, and you're just fucking crazy busy, then it makes sense for you to use something like Linktree. But if your main goal above all else is to just get clients, or it's to just get, you know, sales for your product, then just put one link for your website. I actually think that's way better if you can, like, put all of your content in that one place, because that is what a website is literally for. So if I want to buy your products, I want to see like your website /shop as your link. So that way it's just one click away from giving you money, or one click away from filling out, you know, a request to get a quote from you as a client. I'm just actually trying to organize this stuff a little bit better. So for me, I struggle with my bio so much because I'm so scatterbrained. And I'm sure I am not the only one. So I have such a hard time because I do all these things. I have 2 Patreons. I have one Patreon for my, you know, for Letter Shop, for lettering adventures, a monthly workbook I make teaching new styles of hand lettering. There's also like coaching tiers and all this cool stuff. Then I have Women of Illustration. This is a separate Instagram community. I have a web series and podcast where it's just women supporting women all day, trying to get those voices heard. I sell products. I just released a series of posters. I have a new social media course coming up. I'm not done yet. I just made a book. Just got this book right here, printed actually this past week. 50 random prompts to draw for people that don't know what to draw, that tell you to draw prompts like draw a collection of your favorite curse words, or draw yourself naked without reference. Yeah, it's called Self-Love, people. And draw a vintage neon sign for a Vegas strip. Draw a Rube Goldberg machine. There's all types of stuff. And there's one that I just like that's like draw a fire truck on fire. That image just tickles me. It just makes me happy. So I have a lot of shit going on. By the way, if you want to buy this book, it's on discount right now. Link below. So if you're like me, Linktree is the place to be. Did not mean for that to rhyme. So that's why on the bottom, you see, I actually like tell you what you can find in my Linktree. I think this is really important. So it's like, hey, if you want to buy my book, and since my book is like kind of like the newish, flashiest thing right now, it says new with a little book emoji, 50 random prompts to draw. Because then if you've heard me talking about it on my grid, you know, okay, this is where I go to buy her book. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the internet are dumb. And it's not their fault, man. There's this thing called a short attention span. And, it is so difficult to focus. And sometimes something as stupid as like, you talk about a poster or something like that. If you don't put link in bio, you'll start getting comments like, where do I buy it? Sorry, I'm not... I'm not mad about it. It's just, you know, some people just do that. So you have to be really, really clear. So I say book, posters, Patreon, hire me. There's more links in my Linktree, but those are the ones that are most important. Okay. So with all this being said, all right, I want people here in the live to go ahead and flood the live chat with just your username for Instagram. Don't put links because YouTube will get mad at you. And we'll go ahead and we'll review a couple of those guys to kind of help you with your profiles. So as you guys are doing that, I want to run through some examples. Are we ready? Just for future reference, for those of you who are watching this, these screenshots are actually from almost a year ago. I was trying to find time to update them, but I haven't. So these people's bios, I'm sure, don't look the same. But let's go over what a good bio looks like and what a bad bio looks like. And it doesn't matter how many followers you have. So if you look at Daniel Patrick, he's not giving us a whole lot of information. I am a huge fan of this designer. He was one of the first people I followed on Instagram. Immense amount of respect for this person. But I'm so disappointed by his bio because, yes, he tells me what he does. He says graphic designer. And then he repeats California designer and illustrator. But, like, what do you illustrate? Like, what do you design? Do you just design things for California? Like, I feel like I'm missing some information here. And obviously there's more characters to be had in this profile, but it kind of leaves me kind of wanting more. And yes, I understand I could just scroll down, I could look at his work, but I want it to be really clear. I am probably watching like 4 screens at the same time, and I'm just going to like mindlessly do stuff. And I look to the bio to really understand, is this someone I want to continue following? Is this someone I want to follow in the first place? So if you don't take that extra time just to give me more information, you're going to lose my attention, man. But then if we look to the right, if we look at Mitch's, oh my God, how fucking professional is this dude? Far less followers, right? We have 56K next to like less than 10K. But look how much more professional he comes off. First of all, he says product or service as his category. You get that extra piece of text once you're, a business profile, which all you have to do that is you just hook up a Facebook account, a business Facebook account to your Instagram, and boom, business account. You get all the analytics and the perks. It's great. So if we look at his, it's like quality apparel and custom printing. Yes, that's what he offers. Serving North Carolina since 2014. All right, I love that because he actually does do a lot of local work, and it's a little bit more social proof because he's been around for a few years, right? And then he has his tagline, become great, remain humble. Custom quote includes his email. Shop the brand with a little fucking emoji. I love this emoji. It's like my favorite emoji ever. Just it's like, hey, by the way, this is the link you go to shop the brand. This leaves without a doubt, without a question, what he offers, what he does, and what I can expect to find if I click on his link. Oh, I love it so much. I love it. So fucking organized. And then we got Adam JK. So Adam JK, big fan. I respect all these people. But I kind of feel like his bio is a little all over the place. I haven't looked at it lately. I'm sure it's improved. This guy is a perfect example of someone else who has a lot of shit going on. He constantly has sponsorships. He's, a speaker. He has books coming out all the time, new products, and then just personal work. This dude is fucking busy. So there's a few things that I don't really like here. I think this profile kind of comes off a little unprofessional. It's all in lowercase. And then it says at the end, I kind of just do whatever they let me do. Which is like, at a certain point, like, you're so popular, like, why do you fucking care, right? But for me, it's like, I want a little bit extra. Like, he gives me his email, that's great. He tells me about his book being on Amazon, awesome. But I just kind of feel like the way it was presented could have been, like, a smidge, just, like, a little bit more profesh. So where he has all his ducks lined up, but I feel like they're in the wrong order. That's it. It's just like, how can I put this over the top? How can I make it without a fucking doubt that my fucking bio is solid, is good? And then we have Pamela over here, just starting out on Instagram. She puts wife, mother, half Irish, type, pixel, and cooking obsessed graphic designer. This is an example. I'm so sorry, Pamela, if you ever watch my live streams. This is one of the worst pet peeves I have when it comes to bios. This tells me absolutely nothing. Again, unless you do food lettering or something, or you have a demographic where you are talking a lot about motherhood and being a wife. God, there's so many Instagrams like that. And there's totally a place for them, for women and wives and moms to come together as a community. But if that is not what your profile is about, especially if you're trying to make money as an artist, I feel like it's just a missed opportunity. Like, I want to connect with you. I want to understand what you offer. And when you talk about these things, it just comes off very like live journal to me, and then I like imagine like the sparkly background and like the unicorn faces and stuff, even though that's like totally back in fashion. But still, like, let's come to the 21st century. Let's try to showcase ourselves as professionally as possible so that way we can make money. So with some of these examples, let's look at some people from the chat. Okay, so let's do Paige. All right. I love to draw, tell stories, make little books, and eat spaghetti. I'm an illustrator, a daydreamer, a mama, and a super awesome lady. So you're like half pissing me off with this one. Only half though, like 50% mad. There's no rule that says like, oh, you could have a paragraph style for your bio, or you can like do the bullet points with the emojis. There's no wrong or right way. I think there is like kind of a better science when it comes to the like bullet points, because if you've learned anything about like conversion rates or copywriting or marketing on the internet, people like bullet points. People like short and sweet lines where they don't have to move their head from left to right or really like strain their eyes to read the sentence. There's actual like science and research that's back that up. So if you want just like a little bit extra flavor, and it's also like we're artists, right? Like we're allowed to be playful and use emojis, like it's fine. Which I think is funny because she uses like the comma and then the smiley face bracket, but she doesn't actually physically use an emoji. I'm like, give me an emoji. If you're gonna use that shit, give me an actual emoji. So I'd love to take out for her. I think her saying like she's a mama makes sense because of the style of illustration that she does, and it's obviously for, I'm assuming a child market. So I think that's fine. Saying you love to draw is a no-brainer. That's another thing that kind of bothers me, like saying you're passionate or I love to draw. I'm just kind of like, well, no fucking shit. Like you wouldn't do it if you didn't like it. So it's like you don't have that much copy, so tell me all these things. Answer those questions that we talked about in that previous slide and put it in here. Because right now, the only thing that I know about you is you make little books. Out of this entire thing, that's all that I know about you. So I definitely think you should go back. What services do you offer? How can I give you money? I don't know how I'm supposed to give you money right now. I don't know why I should follow you. You're not talking about, specific audience that you're serving or anything like that. You say you make little books. I don't know what that means. Are they for sale? Are you just making them for fun right now? I don't know. And then you have a link going to your website that I can learn more, but I'm a lazy millennial and I'm probably not going to click on it to learn more. You gotta entice me. You gotta entice me. So I would say break this up a little bit more. Maybe try the bullet form, see what happens, and try to be more specific on why someone should care about you in the first place. I know this is like kind of like I'm being kind of like a hard ass on you. I'm just being all those people on the internet that are, they're judging you without telling you. I'm the person that's actually going to give you like constructive criticism so that way you can improve and make money. Because if I don't tell you these things are wrong, or someone else doesn't, or no one tells you, then you're probably just going to keep making the same mistakes. I don't want that. Like, you're talented. I like this. This is fucking cute. You could talk, like, I'm working with you right now in coaching. So like, this is we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this to a good spot for you, girl. Paige is like, sorry, don't apologize. You know what's better? You know what? This is better than no bio at all. This is better than just saying illustrator and having a link. It's just stepping stones. My bio, literally, I feel like it gets improved and I'm better in tune with what I offer every single week. And this is something that's super easy to edit. So don't beat yourself up about it. Let's check out Jennifer's. Jennifer, longtime fan, not first time listener. Love her. She's a great hand lettering artist. Let's look at her bio. All right, she's all about the emojis. Fueled by letters, graphic designer. Not really sure why there's a comma at the end. Illustrator, hand letterer. Cool. Stop wishing and start doing is her hashtag. Work hard and dream big. Okay. So I think I'm confused a few different ways. You say you're a graphic designer, but I don't see any graphic design in your grid. At least not immediately. So if it's something like, oh, you're a graphic designer at your day job, but it's not the kind of work you're presenting in your portfolio being Instagram, please remove it. It makes me confused. Lettering and illustration, yes, I could totally see that. I could think you could put that on the same line. You give me a hashtag, but I don't know what that means. You have to be writing your bio in a way where it's like, hey, I'm a new follower. I've literally never seen anything you've ever posted ever. And I don't know you enough to read your captions. So when I read this, I'm kind of confused. Am I supposed to use the stop wishing and start doing hashtag? Is it a movement that you created? Is it an illustration prompt? I have no idea. So if you're going to have hashtags in your bio, tell me what they're for. So that way I can get a little bit more context. Like, I'm not a big fan of slogans. Like, I know Mitchell had a pretty decent one, but the reason I liked his slogan from earlier was because he physically, like, puts that on shirts a lot. And it's, like, one of his top-selling pieces. And I'm pretty sure I've seen you illustrate this piece. But I feel like I'm missing information. Like, what kind of clients do you service? Do you even do client work in the first place? Do you offer products? I feel like I'm missing the part where I'm supposed to give you money. And I'm in the part where what you trying to convince me why I should follow you in the first place. And I think this is a really big frustration for a lot of artists where it's like, I don't know why people should follow me. Well, you should really think about that. You have to be thinking about what kind of audience you're attracting. Not just like their age and where they're located and all that basic bitch demographic stuff. I'm talking a little bit more. What is the interest? What interests do these people have? What are their hobbies? What other pages do they frequent? If you can kind of tap into the lifestyle associated with your brand, then that's truly powerful because people can see themselves in that lifestyle. But sometimes, a lot of artists, they just, show static images of their work. This is all beautiful work, by the way. I love everything in it. But I don't know who you are. I don't know what you offer. And I feel like you've put up this weird wall between us. And I don't want there to be anything between us. So I think some of those kind of elaboration a little bit, I think would be really helpful. Yeah, she's saying it's hard to know what to write in bio. Like, literally, like, take these questions, answer them, right, in type form. Like almost like you're making like a little mini about me kind of paragraph for your website. And then you just take that and you just fucking dumb it down. Dumb it down to keywords, to short sentences, and just make it really, really easy. Because I get it's really, really difficult, but you have to try. You have to kind of really think outside of yourself. And I think a really, really good way to know whether or not you're on the right track is have a roommate, a boyfriend, girlfriend, friend that is not an artist, that does not follow you on social media. Like, some of your friends probably do follow you, but they don't really get what you do. You know what I'm saying? Show them your account and don't let them like scroll down or anything. And if they understand what you offer from that bio, you did a great job. But if you're like, okay, so based on that, what do you think I do for a living? And they don't really know, that's a problem. So this is like one of the most important things in your grid. And I know we're talking about curation and we haven't even got to the posting part yet. And I wanted to spend this much time on this first section because it's so important and so many people get it wrong. All right, let's move on. Number 2, repeat yourself. It's all about quantity over quality on social media. So when it comes to repeating yourself, you have to think less than 10% of your followers see your art. So you might as well start to repeat yourself. And a lot of us get really weird about like taking pictures and stuff, but we have to remember Instagram is not a designer's platform. It's a photography platform. It's made for photographers. So don't be surprised that when you post actual physical pieces of, a picture of you practicing or a picture of you painting or a picture of that poster being hung up in your wall or something like that, it's going to get more engagement than just a final static image. Because as artists, we tend to attract the wrong kind of audience, right? We tend to only attract other artists. And typically, those artists aren't going to fucking pay you unless you're offering some sort of educational resource for them to pay you with, right? For the most part, we're trying to sell products. And artists are like literally the most judgmental people ever. It's like, I can make that, or that's not exactly the color palette I would have chosen. Like, we're such assholes. So why are you trying to impress these people? You need to be talking to the normal consumer, the everyday person that has very, very low expectations of you, man. The pressure, oof, it will go like this. It will go like this once you start to open up your audience and talk to normal everyday consumers that aren't artists and say things like, I can't even draw a stick figure. Oh, those are my people. Please pay my rent. Oh, yes. Those are the people where you really need to, you could dumb down half of the stuff that you do and still make it. Because often it's the message and it's what you're trying to say to the world and the feeling they're left with when they see it, which makes them want to buy it versus how much illustration or technical skill it took to make it. That's why there's so many people on the internet that just like do handwriting quotes and have like 100,000 followers, or people who do web comics that are essentially stick figures and, make over $250,000 a year. So I know that stings. It hurts my soul too. But just keep that in mind. Like, we need to get over our perfectionism, especially when especially when you get caught up in the headspace where you're making for Instagram. That's stupid. Don't do that. You make for yourself and you just happen to show it on Instagram. I know it sounds like the same thing, but that little fucking mind flip, oh, it will do so much for your self-confidence. It's crazy. If you don't have something to post that day, don't post. But don't be like rushing at like 6 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, I gotta finish this illustration because the best time for me to post is 8 in the morning, and then blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Just finish it whenever you got time to finish it, and then post it when you're ready. You should be always posting things in the future. You should be using some sort of scheduler, like Later or Buffer, where you can actually write your captions on a desktop computer and not on your phone, so you can actually plan out your grid and actually see how to compose your work together and actually curate your work. And by repeating yourself, you're getting all this additional content. Instead of just having that one opportunity from that art piece, that one static final image, I want to see process. Show me the shitty fucking thumbnails you made. Show me that this took work for you to make. You are not a printer. Do not make it seem like you are one. This also has to do with the value proposition that you offer. A lot of people on Instagram don't value artists. And we're going to fight that stigma for at least the next 100 years. It isn't going away anytime soon, but it's our jobs and to help support this amazing artistic community to show that we're worth something, to prove our value and to show it takes time. And that's why process is so important. Especially for something as simple as lettering that everyone just assumes is like traced from a font or something. It's like, no, bitch. All right. I did like 20 thumbnails. All right. And then I did like 2 high fidelity sketches. And then I fucking stared at that shit for like 2 days. Like a crazy person, like turning it upside down and shrinking it and looking at it every which way until every single thing I just drew looks like it's horribly misspelled. All right. And then I agonize over color palette just to make sure it conveys the perfect tone and message. And then I fucking just like a fucking crazy person just zoom in. I just stare at all my mistakes and then I slowly fix them. That shit takes so much time. So we might as well showcase it and have multiple things to show in our grid so we can be posting more than just once a week. And in order to be even relevant on social media, you need to be posting a minimum 3 times a week. And think how easy that would be if it was just like, I'm going to make 1 piece a week. I'm going to show the thumbnails or the rough sketch. I'm going to show maybe the inked version and then the colored version. Or I'm going to show the process, the final color version, and I'm going to show it mocked up on a t-shirt just to see what people say. There's so many more opportunities for you to repeat yourself. Like if I open up my Later account right now, boop, big fan of Later. Shout out to my homies at Later. So I have all these pieces and I have like my Facebook, my Twitter, then the Instagram, let's face it, the thing that we actually care about. And I actually plan out my grid so I can actually see what it's looking like. Like I'm getting influencer marketing done right now where I'm paying influencers to talk about my posters, my advertising scheme of the week. So I have some mock-ups here, like some actual really nice photography of my posters. I can go ahead and I can switch this around, make sure it's looking sexy. I think it's so important to have some sort of functionality where you can preview your grid. There's also another app for you guys out there called literally Preview. That's free, and there's a purchased version of it where you can just physically like do the same kind of functionality, move things around. That way you're just not making like obvious mistakes like, oh, I'm putting 2 pink photos next to each other. Like, no, you should scatter that around a little bit. Like, okay, like for me, I always put like a light image next to a dark image. I used to be really rigid. And I'd have to put like, okay, here's an illustration and then here's a photo, illustration, photo. But now I think it's much more about the balance and the aesthetic of my feed because I want my eye to kind of flow through it. So I'll add things like earlier in the week, I just literally took a screenshot of a tweet for my grid. It did really well as engagement. And also because it's such a simple post, your eye doesn't focus on it right away. So you're actually giving the user more opportunity to focus on your work. So that way, if you mix in things like lifestyle photography and process photos and tweets and maybe like just simpler posts that are just like your handwriting of a quote that you like that day or really fucking anything, like a little doodle. Like maybe you do like a challenge where you try to draw within the size of a penny or something. I don't know. That's just really simple and basic. There's nothing wrong with that. And often I feel like the best, most powerful pieces are usually the simplest. So using something like Preview and just feeling okay about repeating yourself is so important. And I have it all planned out until next week. And it tells me what my peak times to post are right here in the highlighted in red, which I update on a weekly basis. So I'm making sure and ensuring that when I'm posting on Instagram, it's actually going to travel and be in front of the most amount of people possible. So if you haven't checked out later, highly recommend. It's my favorite after all the people I've given money to over the years for social media and marketing and all this fun stuff. It's by far my favorite. Yeah, let's just show our process more. And there's nothing wrong with going back to old pieces of work too and redoing them, like making old work new again and reposting it. That is something I super enjoy doing, just to see how much I've personally grown as an illustrator. Like this piece I'm wearing right now, actually. Now that we're talking about it, this piece here, I'll show you my titties. Hold on. My bed is calling and I must go. Shh, 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 shh. This is like one of the first pieces I did that got really popular on the social media. And I've been meaning to redo this piece for years now because I'm not afraid of color as I used to be when I first started illustrating. Obviously my typography skills have changed. I don't like the way the clouds are. They look like squishy turds. I think they can look a little bit more realistic. And I think that's such a great challenge that we can give ourselves, especially if you show the before and after. So I hope some of these tips are helping you guys just to kind of, for me, more than anything, it's just trying to take some of this fucking pressure off of you. Because once you know the right way to use Instagram as an artist, it takes out like so much of the like all those like weird detailed decisions. Like, oh, is this a popular enough a hashtag? Am I using too many hashtags? Not enough hashtags? Should I put it in the first comment or should I put it in the description? What about tagging people? How do I get reposted? And then your like brain just explodes. And then you realize you're caring more about social media than actually becoming an artist and actually making stuff. You've gotten to this point in your career where you're planning so much that you totally forgot to like actually make something. And then before you know it, it's been like 2 weeks and you haven't drawn anything. Don't do that. Instagram is just one of the things that you do after you're done making, not before. Really, really important difference. Kate's wanting us to check out her bio. I'll check out your bio, honey. Kate Wang Design. Oh, look at that nice little shelfie right there. She said it's a new account, so she just started it. Hand letterer by night, graphic designer by day. Kansas City, your email. Okay. A few things. If you updated this to a business profile, you would get like a little button that says your email and your location. So you could go ahead and just get rid of these two things. And I don't need to know what your day job is if that's not the thing you're trying to like really get known for here. So just put hand lettering artists. Because a lot of people, especially in the beginning of their illustration careers, they feel very weird calling themselves an artist. I hate to break it to you. If you drew something today, you're an artist, okay? You're not a fucking aspiring artist. You're not a lettering artist by night. You're a lettering artist. And just fucking own that because you are that. So I think the extra information I'm kind of looking for here is, okay, I see a lot of like positive messages. So give me, what should I follow you? Daily inspiration to keep you peppy and happy. Like what would be your tagline? Like, why would I continue to follow you? Like, don't make me go through all your posts and like read your captions and all that good stuff. Just give me like a really good idea of what do you offer. If it's something like, hey, I'm just doing this for fun right now, and I'm drawing the lettering phrases I wish I, like the advice that I wish I would take, that is super relatable. Like, of course, but just put that into word form instead of having me guess at what you offer as a person. All right, let's move on. Let's show the artist behind the art, shall we? This is something I know that we all have a lot of issue with. First of all, this is not about how pretty you are. It has nothing to do with how much makeup you're wearing. It has nothing to do with how nice your hair looks that day. It's really just about, hey, there's a person behind this keyboard. That's really all it is. Like, a lot of my photos aren't photoshopped. I really try not to. Like, I'll, fix lighting and that stuff, but I want to be as raw as possible. Like, I want my acne scars to show. Like, I want my hair to be frizzy. I want you to see food stains on my shirt. Because that's my fucking life, man. Like, I never leave the house. Like, why would I, like, try to look cute for everybody? And I try to be as real as possible. Because I'm not the kind of person on Instagram that you follow because you want what I wear or what I look like. I want you to fall in love with my personality, with my work, with the message I have to share with the world. Not what kind of lipstick I'm wearing or how curly my hair is that day. Like, that's so superficial. But because so many people on Instagram are like that, and there's so many models that technically wouldn't be models if Instagram wasn't a thing, but that's a whole different story, we see that and we feel bad about it. And we feel like there's this kind of image we have to live up to. And this isn't just a women thing. All fucking people have self-image issues, okay? It's just slightly worse for women. That's it. Don't be afraid to show yourself. That's really just the name of the game of this long rant that I'm giving you. And I think it's really important for trust reasons, especially if you're wanting to do client work. So for those of you that don't even have a picture of yourself as your profile picture, and it's just you're not like a big studio with a bunch of employees, I implore you, I don't even know if I'm using that word right, to show your face. Because if I'm going to give you like more than $1,000 for a project, you best know I'm going to know what the fuck you look like, okay? So that way you can't just run away with my money and I never see you again. Like, there are a lot of freelancers out there that have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and they have burned clients. Just how, like, all freelancers everywhere, all illustrators everywhere have had a bad client. It goes both ways, and we're both jaded as fuck about it. So if you're trying to get client work right now, you're trying to work with the big boys, you're trying to get paid like that good fucking couple grand money for just a couple hours of your time, you need to come up to that level. You need to rise up to the occasion. You don't even need to take like that much of like a professional, like, oh, look at my headshot, look how I rest my face on my knuckles, so important, like no, you don't have to do anything like that. Just show yourself in the most casual, nice way as possible. If you got a smile on your face, that's really all you need. Like, this picture right here is an example of like maybe one of the first times that I posted a picture of myself on Instagram, and it did insanely well. It was like one of the first pieces that I had posted, like pieces like photos that people enjoyed. And I talked about my anxiety, I think for the first time in this photo, and saying how I felt nervous showing my face. And I was trying to like get more people to showcase their face on the internet. And it did so well because it related to so many people. We all feel weird about our bodies, man. These are our husks. Like, and we can't control them. And gravity is a bitch as you get older. We all relate to this. So it's just like, just put less pressure of yourself. Like, showcase yourself like with a product that you might have, or, you know, you in your office, even if your office is literally like the pantry room or the kitchen table, like, that's fine. And I actually really love not seeing people struggle per se. I feel like that's the wrong way to say it, but like seeing where you came from. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I have my own office and I'm full-time freelance now, but it wasn't always like that. And I feel like we need to show more realness on the internet so we can all just stop feeling like such fake assholes all the time. So my advice is try to share a personal photo of yourself, like every 3 to 5 images. Don't go crazy. I don't want to see all your dog and your fucking breakfast and just you taking like bathroom selfie after bathroom selfie. Of course not. This isn't a personal account. Hopefully it's somewhat of a professional endeavor for you guys. But I do think it's nice. It breaks up your content. Remember, contrast is really, really important when you're curating the photography and all the beautiful work that you make on your grid. And just adding a couple lifestyle photos really, really can help. I don't even post lifestyle photos for likes, because for me, that's not the point. It's really just sharing myself and my work at the same time. And when you really start, and you're going to hate this, when you really start to like stop caring about followers and stop caring about likes, your life starts to change a little bit. The way that you talk about yourself changes. Because you're not trying to be what you think people want you to be. You're just being yourself. Like, for me, the engagement point that is most important to me is comments. I don't care about my followers. I could lose 6 followers tomorrow and I'd be kind of like confused, but I ideally wouldn't care. I don't care about how many likes a photo gets. Sure, I feel good if I get over 1,000 likes. Who wouldn't? But, you know, I'm not resting my confidence on that day based on how well that photo does. But comments, for me, matter. Because that's me talking back and forth with my own following. So if I can stir up a discussion, or, you know, be a little bit more controversial, or bring up a new idea or a new way of seeing things, and it lands with someone, that to me is the most important metric there is. So it's so hard to do that when you don't show your life in the real world, I find. It's really, really hard to talk about yourself and be vulnerable with just your art. I know for a lot of people that's like, do you know, that's fucking hard for me. Like, I get it. We're all at different stages of our anxiety in life on social media. But something about this whole idea of taking pictures of myself really clicked for me in my head, and has really helped with my, not only like engagement, like on social media, but also my self-worth, to be honest. Also, I want to see things like, what's your workspace look like? Show me more of that process. What's your life? Like, you can show the occasional doggy photo. Like, oh, hey guys, did you know that I also leave the house sometimes? Like, yay! Like, I'll show like, hey guys, I went on a road trip today. Or Like, I literally posted a picture of myself going to the grocery store. Are you kidding me? Because it's like, my life's not that exciting. All right, I very randomly leave the house. Posted this magnificent photo. And I decided, like, hey, let's take this opportunity to talk about anxiety. So I literally just go, hey guys, 3 ways my friends can help me deal with anxiety. I really do want to hang out with you. And I, tell them a little story. Oh, that exciting moment when you go on an adventure, even if it's just to go get groceries. The lady at the checkout gave me a sticker and told me she was very proud of me for leaving the house. This literally made my day. So notice that I'm taking this narrative and I'm turning it into something a little bit extra. I'm not just being like, hey guys, I went to the grocery store. Oh, that'd be so fucking annoying. I would hate, and also I feel really weird just staring at a picture of myself. It's weird. But I took an opportunity, like, okay, I'm gonna write I deal with social anxiety on a daily basis. Sometimes I'm so paralyzed by fear. I can't leave the house. I can't leave my bed. I can't work. It's a debilitating fucking syndrome that a lot of people deal with and not enough people talk about. And I constantly get asked by a lot of my followers who don't deal with anxiety, but have friends that do, that they don't know how to support them. So I was like, all right, I was feeling kind of fucked up today. I was actually really proud of myself, and I was super psyched to get that sticker because I'm fucking 5 years old. So I was like, all right, I get asked this question a lot. Let me go ahead and provide a little bit more value with this post. So that is the one thing you do need to keep in mind. If you are going to be posting more pictures of yourself, give me some context. What can I learn about your life? Don't just tell me a story about like what you did that day. Tell me why. What was the struggle? Give me some sort of emotional thing to hold on to, just so I have an easier time remembering who the fuck you are. Because that's really helpful. All right, last up is we just want to break up all the art with our photography. You don't have to have like a bunch of zoom ins of your face. Sometimes it's just something like my favorite thing is when people like are actually painting like a big piece or doing a mural or something like that. Or if they're even just taking a picture in front of a mural that isn't even theirs, just to add some color to show that they're artsy. Like, I think that's cool. So there's lots of different options you guys can use when it comes to your lifestyle photography. And to show you as an example, I have Foobers, this is Phoebe, and then Stefan Kuntz, just to show you, like, it really does help break up your content. Like, look at this one. Well, you kind of can't see it. It's hidden behind my face. Yeah, I'll just do this for a second. Okay, if you look at this photo, it's just literally paint cans and then her shoes. But this is such an interesting photo because I'm getting kind of the behind the scenes of what it's like to be a mural artist. And like this one, this has nothing to do with murals. She's sitting in front of a laundromat, right? But she's looking all cute, right? She's not trying to impress anybody. And then we got Stefan Kuntz. Like, he's like, hey, I'm, recording this video. Here's a process of me doing a chalk piece. Like, here's me using Procreate. Here's a time lapse of me working here. And having these photos is so nice to break up that content where it just really looks like you got your shit together, because it's not just about the art, it's about the artist that created them. Now let's talk a little bit about captions. All right, we've gone over your bio. We've gone over the importance of showing lifestyle photography in your work, right? We're talking about repeating yourself and showcasing more of your process and duplicating your content if necessary. And how fucking nice it is to actually plan ahead and actually see what your grid's going to look like for the upcoming week. Something that I actually do is I take off 1 week every month from social media, especially if I'm no longer a week ahead in my schedule. I do this because I need a break from social media. I need a break from Instagram. When I notice myself caring about it too much, when I'm caring about it more than sleep, when I'm caring about it more than eating, like basic human functionality to live and not die, then I think that's probably an issue. So I take a little breather from it. And I also do this because I make without the pressure of posting. And often when I'm making just for the love of it, that's like the best fucking art I've made my entire career. When it's not based on a client's goals, I'm not thinking about, oh, how many people are going to share this on Instagram. I'm just making it because it's just something in my head that I need to put on paper just so I can remember it, or I can fucking live it, or imagine it, or just see it exist, And it's those things that are like typically the things that do the best. I just feel like if we reverse engineer this whole weird marketing thing and just make for the love of it and then just show that love to the world versus try to figure out what the world wants and then give it to them, it's such a game changer. All right, let's talk about the why. Let's talk about the why. So a lot of us don't know how to write captions very well. We're really good about what, and sometimes we're good about the how, but not so much about the why. Let me give you a couple of examples. You'd be like, hey, I did this today, or I made this today. and I use this pen. Okay, all right. Why did you make it? Who inspired it? Can I get more information? Like, typically, if you just literally ask yourself the who, what, when, where, how, it's so much easier. And that's why I think it's so important to write these things ahead of time. Like, always writing your captions ahead of time. Even if you can still be on your phone. Like, just save drafts in your email or write notes in your iPhone or whatever. But something about, like, the pressure of doing it in the app, and you're uploading it and you're like, I'm going to write a caption. You just kind of like, ooh, you like get really confused and you feel it really hesitant and you end up writing the stupidest, bullshitty, shortest thing you can think of. And that's typically not the way you need to be doing it. So instead, try asking yourself questions like, what made you design this piece in the first place? Did you want to get better at hands? So that's why you drew it. Are you really in love with fall and the color scheme right now and the leaves, and you just felt compelled to make something that represented that season? Was there a show that you just watched? Like, whatever inspires you in your day-to-day. It could be something as simple as coffee, it could be sleep, you being lazy, never washing your hair, or it could be something a little bit more meaningful. But just tell me what the fuck it is, man. Like, that's all that I want. And also try to keep in mind, hey, this is an advertising channel, right? And in order to get people engaged, you have to give them a reason to engage with you. And also you get algorithm points every time someone not only likes your photo, but replies to your caption. And something that not a lot of people think is you get 2 lines on Instagram and then you see that little read more. When someone hits that read more, that's an algorithm point. And that's the kind of term that I use. Like, these are the things that are in favor of the algorithm. So like the more points you get, there's not actual point system. I'm sure there kind of is, but I don't make AI, so I don't know what the real term is. But like the more points you get, like the more likes, the more comments within the first hour of you posting, the more likely the rest of your following is going to see that post. And since it's a lot easier to engage your current following than trying to get new followers, your caption really makes a big difference in connecting with your community. So really try to think, what am I doing? Am I teaching someone something? Am I engaging them in some way? Or am I entertaining them? Entertainment, again, can be something where it's funny or just fucking relatable. Just feeling a little bit less lonely in that thought that you share with another person is a very powerful thing. It's the same reason why we're friends with people. And that's another way you can think of it. Like, if I go to your Instagram, what kind of friend are you? What kind of friend? It's kind of like your audition tape for Friends in high school. Like, you want to sit at the cool people's table or whatever that equivalent of the cool people are. Like, for me, I really, really, really wanted to be friends with the gothic kids in high school. Like, I didn't give a shit about the jocks or anything because they were all like basic Barbie dolls. But I liked the gothic kids. And there was like the grungy, dirty gothic kids, and then there were like the cool gothic kids, and I wanted to be a part of the cool gothic kids club. And there was something about their lifestyle and the way that they portrayed themselves that was really interesting to me and really got my attention. So if we think about that, that's the rule of attraction, right? So if you think about that with your captions, it's like, why would someone want to be a part of my cool kids club? What about this post would make you want to be my friend? And typically people want to be friends with you for 2 reasons. That's really all it is. They want to be like you. They're just like, hey, you're cool. I want your life. I want you near me so you can inspire me and be my mentor. Or you're just like them and they see themselves in you and they want to be around their people. Those are very powerful feelings. And that's really the difference between just having a following on Instagram and having a legit fucking community. And I know this is like, okay, Gina, I get it. But how? Like, how do I do this? Well, you just have to try to think of examples of why someone would give a shit about what you're doing. Like, I have this old post right here that was me doing a live interview for this thing called Live in Portland. It is recorded in this like fucking garage. It was like a live studio audience. I did this like 7-minute interview and I just talked about like, hey guys, I was in a late night talk show that was completely recorded with iPhones. Like, that's pretty interesting. And then just talking about, well, how did I feel when I made that interview? Instead of me just being like just flexing on the internet, like, look at me, I'm so cool, I got interviewed by iPhones. Like, I don't know, that's the voice you would make. But instead of, I talk about things like, oh, even though, I love how much I love speaking, or how nervous I still get when I speak, or how I talk for 7 minutes and I literally don't remember what I said because I was so nervous. and how everyone said that they liked my interview the most that day, and it surprised me, and I teared up a little bit on the way home. You know, things like that. People are like, oh, you're a person with feelings? Oh my God. And like, I'm not saying you need to like, you know, jerk at someone's heartstrings every time you write a caption, but you really should try to think of how can people relate to me a little bit better and get me? Or how can I just straight up entertain this person and make their day? And when you start to think about it from that perspective, then I think it really helps. Because it's like, we're thinking about things in the wrong way, right? Like, we need to make for ourselves and then post whatever we make on Instagram. But when it comes to the caption, then that's when I think we should really start to be like, okay, well, what do these people want from me? How can I describe this piece so that they understand it better? Then that makes more sense. You make art for you, you make the caption for them. All right, just kind of summarize it in a kind of easier way. Lastly, really get into the friend analogy. It's just, how can I feel like I'm your friend reading this? That's really just the main thing. How can I feel close to you, motherfucker? Let me know you. Please. All right, number 5. This is all about interacting. All right, because we talked about all the big things. How to write captions a little bit better, how to curate your work a little bit better, how to do all these things better, how to like update your profile, and really just trying to figure out like, why the fuck am I on Instagram in the first place? What am I trying to sell people? And what is the message behind my art? Versus, I made this thing today, look how cool it is, please like it and put it on your refrigerator, mommy. Right? All right, number 5, interact every day. Talk with people, not just at them. Because a lot of those things with the captions, it feels very one-sided. And it's really difficult for me as a user to see your caption, which is like 4 words and an emoji. I don't know what to comment back to that. Like, hey, I made this thing today. Aren't sunsets pretty? What? Like, you're leaving me only one choice of a comment, and that is cool, awesome, thumbs up emoji, amazing, I like this. That's all that I can do. I can only give you cosmetic compliments because you've only given me a cosmetic caption. But if you rethink your captions as a way to start a conversation where people can actually give you a response or give you an example of how they felt that way too, or how much they like that show too, or anything really, then you're going to see those comments explode. And that's why if you look at like the majority of any of my pieces, I get a butt ton of comments, with the exception of this guy. Only 12 comments. Don't tell anybody. Sometimes I didn't even take this picture. It was a repost of someone else who took my photo. But that's okay. I'm not mad about it. But if you look at this guy, right? 96 comments, 90 comments, 69 comments on my face, 60 comments, 35 comments, 45, 104. That's a lot of comments. 77. You know what I mean? Like, it's because I'm trying to incite a reaction, right? When I post something like here, like this one, boom. Like, if I have an image, for example, that I have no idea how to engage people with it, there's no deeper meaning besides I have a product, then that's when you do something like a giveaway, right? Hey guys, weekly giveaway. Stop relying on inspiration to draw and start practicing your lettering skills the right way. I talked a little bit why my lettering books are fucking cool and why everyone should buy them. But then kind of try to incite people to comment by having them like enter my giveaway. And by the way, I do giveaways literally every week. So turn those post notifications on if you'd like to win free stuff. But when I'm not doing that, just doing something like fresh out of fucks, this is a reposted piece of artwork. Like it starts out very like salesy, like slap this on your wall and tell everyone that you're fresh out of fucks shopping, like, you know. Then I start talking more about like my life has totally changed since this because this became my mantra, especially when it comes to my art. I realized that I was making stuff for other people rather than drawing art that actually mattered to me. Now in my work, you can see a consistent theme of statement pieces around cannabis, self-love, anxiety that are really connecting with people. I've been blown away by all of the comments and DMs thanking me for helping you feel less alone. And honestly, with every message I get more motivated to conquer my fears and keep making things that are close to my heart. You know what I mean? I could have just been like, buy this poster. But I'm constantly trying to figure out, okay, what's the meaning behind this piece? Now, even though I posted this piece before, I didn't just like copy and paste the caption. I think this might be the 3rd time. No, it was just the 2nd time. I always have a new way to interpret that piece. Like when I talk about, like the next time I talk about this new piece, I'll completely give it a new kind of spin. Because art can mean lots of different things, and you might realize that as you grow as just like a fucking person, that your experiences and you change. So it makes sense that your interpretation of the own art that you make changes too. So there's always a story to be said, even if it's for the same image. So all that being said, when we're interacting with people and you're inciting comments, right? You're giving people an actual reason to comment and hopefully giving you a legit comment, you're replying back to them. Because if you just reply to every comment that you get, boom, you just doubled comments. 10 comments turns into 20 comments. 50 comments turn into 100 comments. It's very easy, right? Typically, if you look at any of my comments, you just divide them by 2. That's probably like closer to the amount of comments I got. But the algorithm doesn't care. So it's really important, especially in the first like 10 minutes and first hour of you posting, that you were like if someone says, this is cool, you say fucking thank you and you give them a heart emoji or something. Like always reply back. And I have a rule of thumb where I give what I get. So it's like if I get a really big like fucking paragraph of a comment, I'm going to give you like a paragraph back. Or if you just give me an emoji as a comment, I'm going to give you an emoji back type of thing. Where it's less about trying to trick the algorithm and more just like, hey, you took the fucking time out of your very busy, distracting day to leave me a fucking 5-paragraph comment. Like, you best believe I'm going to take time out of my day to show you that same respect. You know what I mean? Building these conversations with people and then eventually, you know, moving on from commenting back and forth to DMing is really how I make the best connections with my own following. And that's where the most of my sales take place. It's like I get a lot of sales guys just from like DMing people and sending them video messages. Like it's really I made like $300 yesterday because this piece that I made yesterday, Past Joints Not Judgment, got reshared a lot. Like a lot of people hit that little boop boop little share to stories button. And you, by the way, if you don't know what this functionality is, if you go to your Instagram, you go to your profile, click the 3 dots in the top right corner. Boop, click it. It'll say view story reshares. If you do not see that, it just means that no one shared it in the last 24 hours. But if you do see it, click on it and you can see all the people who reshared your work. Because just because someone shares something to stories doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a notification. You're only going to get a notification if someone actually tags you on top of sharing it to stories. Sometimes you miss them. So what I did, I spent like an hour yesterday reaching out to every single person who was nice enough to share this piece of artwork. Just because I was fucking blown away by how many people shared it. I sent them a $10 off coupon code, and then I sent them a video message just saying, hey, thank you so much for posting my piece of work. If they were a fellow artist, if I enjoyed their work, I gave them a compliment on it and was just saying, you know, thank you so much for giving me a shout out. As a sign of gratitude, here's $10 off, just in case you wanted to purchase something. And then I sold a butt ton of posters that way, not only because I gave them $10 off, but because I actually made a fucking connection with those people. And yeah, it took me an hour, but it's like I made $300 in an hour yesterday. Like, that's pretty good. So I'm just trying to really drive that point across that, like, connecting with your community is key to making any sort of sale. And the same goes for client work. And then, because the people that follow you, they're going to be your biggest advocates, and they're going to spread the word as much as they can to anyone who would possibly even want to hire you. So you're going to be commenting back to every comment that you get, right? I want you guys to be DMing new followers that are in your demo. Like for me, if my demo is other artists and I see a bunch of followers come in, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to say, hey, thank you so much for following me today. I checked out your grid. I think it's really awesome. I'm so glad to be your new friend on the internet. And I'll take the time to do that. And for those of you guys that are still like, you know, first 100 followers, first 200 followers, first 300 followers, every new follower you get is fucking precious. You're like, oh, fuck, I went to bed last night and it was at 3:01 and I woke up and it was at 3:03. You get like psyched, and it's so easy to lose those followers, especially in the beginning, because so many of those followers are like bots or like people who only do follow for follow, and it gets incredibly frustrating. But it's so hard for someone to unfollow you once they know like you're a person. So like if you send them like a video DM, it's kind of like guilting them into staying a little bit. That's not the intended purpose behind it. It's just kind of this thing that happens as well, I guess you could say. And also I think it's really great to just ask people sometimes why they followed you in the first place. Because, you know, this is really good, especially if you just recently changed up your style, or you're, you know, creating a different kind of piece of content. Maybe you started a new illustration series of some kind. And, you know, sometimes you break away from the consistency you had before, and it could confuse some people and you might lose some followers. So if you get a new follower and you just send them a video message or just a normal message if you want. Hey, thank you so much for following me. I was just curious. I just changed up my style recently, and I was wondering why you followed me. Some people might ignore you, and if they do, who cares? Like, no big deal. No one's gonna be like, how dare you? Like, that would be really weird. Like, no one's gonna do that. But you might be surprised at what people say. Like, you're not searching for compliments. Like, that's not the point. But it might be like a certain piece that went viral, or, you know, it could be your caption or the way you talked about yourself in a certain piece that you posted. And those are kind of the clues that we know, like, okay, this was working and I want to do more of what works. It's like, okay, you know, I started posting more cannabis content, and that, you know, I lost a couple followers that were kind of like, ew, cannabis. And that's fine. Like, I respect your choice. But then I gained so many more followers because of it. And that was kind of like, all right, well, there's not that much cannabis art out there. I might as well just start making more of this stuff, because it's something that, you know, I smoke weed every day. I'm a stoner or whatever, even though I'm probably one of the most productive people you've ever met, fighting the stigma. So it's like a big part of my life, and I want to, you know, be a part of that cannabis community. And so it's just like, okay, so paying attention to things like analytics and asking people questions, and really just like using more polls and stories can really help you get that data that you need to know whether or not you're on the right track or not. And if you think about it, social media is really just one big beta test. You ask people which color poster do they want, blue background or red background. Like, I when I was making my prompt book, I literally asked people on Instagram, hey, do you have any prompts you'd like me to add to the book? And I actually used like 8 people's suggestions for it. Or you get such good, important feedback, and it's totally free. So, like, why are we not utilizing that? Why are we just posting images on the internet with these basic bitch captions and wondering why we're not getting more followers? You're not putting your heart in this, man. You're not even putting an ounce of yourself in it, not even a pinky toe. You're not even putting your own personality into your work, so why are your expectations so high? Why are you comparing yourself to other people, especially those who have been in the business 3 times your own age? There's a big difference, again, between inspiration and intimidation, and you need to really check with yourself and make sure that you're creating for the right reasons, and that you're using social media as an advertising channel, and again, not as a validation machine. And as a final note for interacting with your community, spread the love to your idols and peers. Do this by, you know, when you buy another artist's artwork, take a picture, should give them a shout out in the stories. Or maybe you want to do a story series on your favorite artist on Instagram right now. Or, you know, a customer buys one of your products and you give them a shout out. Or you give someone, you know, a critique. If you notice, like, hey, you know what, you spelled that word wrong, and you send them a private, you know, message on Instagram, so that way they're not embarrassed publicly. Or really anything. Just really try to think, how can I provide value to my audience? And if it makes you feel better and less markety, just replace audience with friends. How can I be a better friend on the internet? And that's really all it is. Because that's the whole point, is connecting with people. And it has nothing to do with how good you feel at the end of the day. It has to do with how good you make other people feel. And that's the whole point. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. All right, cool guys. I'm so glad you enjoyed today's live stream. For those of you watching this in the future, if you feel like you're missing out, if you feel like, okay, this video wasn't long enough, that's because you got the edited version. You didn't get the full version. If you would like to get more feedback on your work, get critiques on your social media, and join a community of other like-minded artists, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/lettershop. They get the raw Dina, they get the mistakes, they get the inside jokes, they get the burps, and occasionally like gagging motions. It's very sexy, and you're missing out on it, and it makes me sad. Only my patrons get to see that stuff. All right, guys, you are amazing. I'm gonna say bye. All awkward like. Rick is probably putting like a giant circle around my face in the edited version right now. Yeah, I can feel it. He likes to do this thing where it's like a big circle and then it gets smaller on my face because I take a really long time to say goodbye. I don't know why. It's because I never want to leave, even though I'm having this like weird conversation with just myself, like in an empty room with people who are kind of chatting, right? It doesn't matter. It's fine. All right, guys. I'm ready to get off the internet. You don't have to worry about me. I'm gonna leave. Okay. I can't find the button to stop streaming. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. All right, guys. I'm officially leaving. Okay. Okay, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day. All right. I'll see you later. Okay, bye.